Hello Sparkle Squad, this is Monica and tonight I'm coming to you with some jewelry making with a color theme, and this is a twofold video. So this is my jewelry making tutorial for BeeBeeCraft, my latest haul that I did, and I am participating in my good friend Terry's Be Creative Challenge. Now she's doing a little bit different this year, and so far I've not been able to participate until now. So she has chosen colors for the months, and this month we have cherry red and pink. So that is pretty easy for me to do. I figured I would be able to do that and then incorporate some of the very colorful things that I got in the BeeBeeCraft haul. Now I know that Christmas is over, but just happen to have some red and some pink that fall into the category of the cherry red and the pink for this challenge. So I decided I'd go ahead and do that, incorporate it into my jewelry making. And I'm going to be using my one-step looper tool to make my loops on some earrings. For those of you who have one of these tools, you know how handy it is. If you want to create a loop, just similar to like what I already have here on this 3-inch head pin, then you can use this tool in order to do that, and you can go right up to the bead that you've got and not have it like a gigantic loop. So that is the cool thing about this tool, and then you're done. I like to have wrapped loops in a lot of ways because I might have like a front-facing flower or some other sort of graphic that I want people to see directly from the front of the earlobe. So in that regard, I'll do a wrapped loop, but otherwise I can do these very quick and easy. This tool is extremely handy whenever you're wanting to make like a chain link for a bracelet, necklace, whatever project you've got where you just need to have repeated simple loops. Makes it a lot quicker and easier on the old hands, and as you get older like me, that makes a big difference. So this is the 1.5 millimeter loop size. There are, I think, 2 additional, maybe 3 additional, but I've only got 2 of the additional ones. I do have an Amazon link to that. If you are interested in those, you can buy it as a set or individually. And I really like this size for most all of them that I make. I think I've only used the other sizes maybe once, and that was just the mid size. So this is my go-to every time typically that I want to make a simple loop. For the simple loop, whenever you put onto your wire, it's just going to be free movement of the beads that are on that wire. If you wanted the front-facing effect, like I mentioned earlier, you would want to do the wrapped loop and go all the way to the bead, so it acts as a stop. It gives tension in that wrap and the bead so that the bead stays in the direction that you want it to. Some of the other tools that I'll be using are my flush cutters and a flat nose plier, and probably my bent nose pliers because I can't live without using that in my loop making. But since I'm using my special tool here, I'm not going to be doing a wrapped loop, so we'll see, because I might need to tuck in the ends on something that I cut off. First off, I'm just going to put on a white bead, and then I'm going to put on a pink Christmas tree, and then I'm going to use this yellow glass pearl as sort of like a star element. And because it's all kind of the same petite size, it's just going to look really cute. Like I've got a base, I've got a star or a tree topper. So I have a loop on the bottom, which means I'm going to create another loop and do a dangle of a glass pearl that give it a little bit more movement. So I want to make a simple loop up here at the top, and I'm just going to feed this through. And I'm going to put my bead all the way up here to the lip of my tool. I don't want to take a chance that I'm going to crush any of like a glass or a crystal. So I think I'm good right there. And then I'm just going to squeeze. I'm going to hold on to that piece of wire so it doesn't fly up. And then I like to kind of pull back just slightly to where it makes a little crook or a question mark on my loop. I'm going to just double check to be sure. I have just a little bit of a gap there, so I'm going to squeeze that first off, make sure it's tight, and then I'm going to come over here and just lightly squeeze that. I don't want to overlap the wire. Now it's closed, and I can put another dangle here on the bottom, so I'm just going to grab this little bit of wire and get that out of my way, because I may actually use this here later for another project. And grab a smaller just head pin. Just use some small size head pins out of that multi-pack that I got. Now I have them smaller, but since I've got carpal tunnel and arthritis, it's not going to be a good thing if I use one of those really short head pins. But it looks like a little nail head. It doesn't have that loop on the end, and that is to stop my beads. So since I've got a pink Christmas tree, I'm going to do a red pearl on the bottom. And sometimes with these shorter head pins, they might be a little bit wider at the very end, so you got to be sure that your pearl will go all the way to the bottom. And then I'm just going to use my handy tool again, because I don't care which way that this pearl is going. I'm just going to slide this in here. Whoops. Oh, that's too far. It's so small it doesn't want to cooperate. Okay, I'm all the way up here to the pearl, and then I'm just going to give it a squeeze, making sure that this little bit right here doesn't flap and hit anybody in the eye. And then this is so small it really doesn't matter, but I'm still going to just try to pull it a little bit. It will actually make a question mark shape on its own. You don't necessarily have to do that, but I find that I like it better if it's a little bit more pronounced. And then I'm checking to be sure. I need to kind of squeeze it. Now, I usually tell my students don't do that, because you don't want to squeeze this way and take a chance of ruining the integrity of the loop itself, but that's just a teeny tiny little space and it's fine. Plus this is a thick head pin wire. It's a 20 gauge, so I'm good there. So there's one, and then I'm going to do that for another one here, because I'm going to be making 2 of the pink earrings. Now with the glass pearls, sometimes the coating will be covering the hole that's on one or both sides. So if it pops off like mine popped off here at the very end, I just changed the direction of the pearl so that this is what's going to be showing front facing, and then the silver nail head over here covers up what popped off. So it's still good to go, and I'm just fine with that. But if it doesn't, if it maybe pulls off more than that, you might want to just grab you another pearl. But sometimes with those coated pearls, you have that issue. So I'm just going to make another one with my handy tool. See how easy that is? I think it's more difficult for me just trying to get it off my tool. And then I've got my bent nose pliers where I'm making sure that I don't have any little gap. If you want a little bit of extra movement, you can use like a tiny jump ring and then add that onto the Christmas tree, or you can just open the loops on either the Christmas tree or the bead here and put it directly on there. I think I want to have a little bit of extra movement though. Okay, so I'm just going to grab one side of my jump ring with my bent nose pliers, the other side with my flat nose pliers, and then I'm going to pull it towards myself so that I can open the door essentially. However is more comfortable with you, push it away from yourself or pull it towards yourself, as long as you're not opening side to side, because again, that ruins the integrity of the circle or the loop, whatever you're working with. So then I'm just going to grab one of my little red pearls and put that on. Whoops, the bottom, I almost put it on the top. We don't want that. Of my Christmas tree. Then I'm going to grab hold and just close the door. So however that is more comfortable for you, and I just give it a squeeze to be sure that everything is closed where it is flush. Then I have this beautiful little dangly bit, and it's got a little bit more movement, which is more fun, I think. And then I'm going to need to get an ear wire. They're called French ear wires or fishhook style, and I usually hold mine upside down. And then usually when you turn it upside down, you can see which end the loop opens up on. So again, I'm going to just pull it towards myself. And since this is going to be a free movement piece, because this is a double-sided Christmas tree and I don't care which way it's facing, I'm just going to slap it on that loop, close the door, make sure it is not got any kind of little gap. There is my earring. It's any direction. Now, if I wanted to make a wrapped loop so that my Christmas tree was always front facing like this, then I could do that to make sure that you would put that on to where this is the part that's coming out of the ear. People are going to be looking this way, so make sure your tree is front facing. But as you can see, my tree has got those beautiful little colorful dots on both sides, and so no matter which way it turns, it's going to be really cute. It can be a sideways tree, which is fine, and it can be a front to back tree, which is fine. So it's a 3D Christmas tree bead, and I love it. Isn't that pretty? I'm going to make another one for the pink, and then we'll do the red. I have the pink Christmas trees and the red Christmas trees, and if you're like me, I mean, you might want to do a Christmas tree year round. The red could be my Diet Coke Christmas tree year round, although mine in my actual office is white and I have all Diet Coke stuff on it as far as decorations. And then the pink, I have a pink Christmas tree that I was supposed to put up in my bead store, but the bead store never came to fruition, so I have a pink Christmas tree that's not been up anywhere. except for my Texas house. And boy, do I miss that house. Well, I miss some elements of the house, but mainly the backyard. If you visited my channel back when I lived in El Paso, Texas, I had a beautiful backyard and I could do live streams there, and it was just great. I missed my koi fish pond too. That was so much fun. I'm going to use these snowflake charms, these rainbow snowflakes that have the rhinestone in there, and then a lot of the coordinating colors from the snowflake in these glass pearls here, and then make additional little dangles onto the ear wires. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to use this same tool in order to do so, and then I'm going to use several of these little small, or maybe this size, to do the simple loops for several of those drops. And that's going to complete that pair of winter rainbow snowflake earrings. So I have the snowflakes now that are done. And I put a bunch of dangles on there. There are the cute little snowflakes with the bead dangles. And when you pick them up to wear them, you got all these little colors that go around all over the place. And they actually do coordinate with the snowflake itself because it's got all those multiple colors. And I just like having that little extra something at the top of the snowflake, and then that rhinestone peeks out. And that was just using that same tool and process to make all of those little simple loops as a pearl dangle, just like I did on the Christmas tree. And I just added that to a jump ring and put it straight onto the ear wire with the snowflakes. Just looks like a fun little earring. There are my two sets of earrings. I've got the cherry red and the pink, and then I've got some red and pink in the little colorful snowflakes. Now, to carry on the traditional February type thing where we're not talking about Christmas trees or snowflakes, although it's about to get really cold here again, I'm going to do a cherry red and pink and white bracelet. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and share this with any of your jewelry making friends that might enjoy supplies from BeeBeeCraft.com, and be sure to use my coupon code to save off of your purchase at their website, as well as if you are interested in joining the YouTube program with BeeBeeCraft, I will have my affiliate links below and you are welcome to check that out. If you've not already done so, please subscribe to my channel, and as always, thank you so much for watching and have a sparkle-rific day, y'all. Bye!